Hello YouTube, shintigercurl here, that dude in the straw hat, bringing you yet another Yu-Gi-Oh video. It's been a while since I've done these, but I hope I can jump back into the swing of things. So, once again, I am doing another, as you can tell, as I said, or you saw in the profile, or you wouldn't have clicked this video, I am doing a deck profile on the newest, one of the newest archetypes to be introduced into the game itself. The Super Quantum Mecha Phantom Beasts. Yes. This archetype has just recently come out, and the newer cards just got updated to the Salvation website. So check out the Salvation website if you want to get an update on the newest cards. Or, like I said, Salvation is just so cool that you can just open it and it will automatically update. And it will also give you a list of the new cards. These are the newer cards that just came out. I had my eye on these guys for quite a while, but I wanted to wait until they actually got more support and I could actually play them before I can make a judgment on them. So here we are. They don't have much in the way of support or members in their archetype, but so far I've played with them a little bit and I liked what I've seen. So after some experimentation, this is the deck that I have created that works best for now, at least until they add more cards, or at least until I find another engine that I particularly like. But anyway, if you couldn't tell, Super Quantum Mechas are based off the Japanese Super Sentai TV series, or for those of you who are in America, the Power Rangers archetype, in which the cards in the main deck are merely the Power Rangers themselves, and the cards in the extra deck, the Exceed monsters, are the mechs themselves. So they're interesting little archetypes. So let's go through them one by one and see what these little bastards can do. First up, before we start, I have to make a note that all the the Super Quantum Pilots, all have two effects. One when they're summoned, either by normal or special summoning, or when they're sent to the graveyard. So they have two effects. They all share this same effect. So, anyway, let's get started. First we have a Super Quantum Mecha Pilot Red Layer, Fire type Warrior Monster, 5 stars, 2000 attack, 800 defense. Oh, that's not good. Effects. If you have no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can use only one of each of these effects of Red Layer once per turn. When this card is normal or special summoned, you can target a Super Quantum card in your graveyard, add it to your hand. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target a Super Quantum monster except for itself and special summon it. Now, of course, you're gonna want this bad boy in here because, well, he's got the Cyber Dragon staple effect for monsters of level 5 or higher, in which if your opponent controls if you control no monsters, you can special summon it. So, but unlike Cyber Dragon, your opponent doesn't need to control monsters. You just have to control no monsters. So, the first effect, when you normal or special summon, it's good for recycling cards in your graveyard. This deck goes through a lot of cards, so it's good for just getting cards back from your graveyard to your hand, and there'll be a reason for that as I get further into the deck. Secondary effect is awesome. It's basically a free monster reborn if this card is sent to the graveyard. Keyword here, sent. Not destroyed, not removed, sent to the graveyard. So if it's destroyed by battle or card effect while it's on the field, you get the effect. If you ditch it from your hand to the graveyard for a cost or something, you get the effect. If it's sent from the deck straight to the graveyard, you get the effect. So you'll be able to summon pretty much any Super Quantum Beast or a Super Quantum monster that you want. Even the Exceed monsters, they all count. So anyway, I run 3. You have no reason why you should not run 3. Next up, we have Super Quantum Mecha Pilot Green Layer, Wind Monster, Spellcaster type, level 4, 1600 attack, 1400 defense. When it's summoned, you can special summon a Super Quantum monster from your hand. If it's sent to the graveyard, you can discard a Super Quantum card to draw a card. This is awesome. It's basically a Goblinberg for these bastards, since there's no restriction on what type or what level that monster has to be, so you can just summon him and then bring him out for some quick beatdown action. But its secondary effect I kind of like. If it's sent to the graveyard, you can ditch a super quantum card and draw a card, which combos well into to red layer. So if this is destroyed or sent to the graveyard, you can activate its effect, ditch this, draw a card, use his effect to bring this back, and if you haven't used its first effect this turn, use it, and then if you happen to have a super quantum in your hand, summon that bitch. Running 3. Next up, we have Super Quantum Mecha Pilot Blue Layer. It is a water type psychic monster. 3 stars. 1200 attack, 2000 defense. Beefy ass. When it's summoned, you can add a Super Quantum card from your deck to your hand. Except Blue Layer. If it's sent to the grave, target 3 Super Quantum cards in your graveyard and shuffle them into your deck. Now, the first effect, of course, is a searcher. It says Super Quantum card, so there's no limitation. You can search out pretty much anything in the archetype that you need, and there's quite a lot you can search. It's a defender, so you can just block any beefy thing that comes in handy. And if it's sent to the graveyard, you can shuffle itself as well as up to 3 cards. So it's really, like I said, it says up to 3 cards, so you really don't need to have exactly 3 cards to get this effect. It can shuffle itself back into the deck, so it kind of reloads your deck in case you start running out. And there's other cards that it combos well too, but I'm going to get to those a little bit later. So I run 3. Next up, we have Super Quantum Fairy Afan, I guess. Light type, 1 star, 0 attack and defense, a fairy. This one is different from the others in that its effect is not counted as a Super Quantum Pilot, and also its effects do not pop off when it's sent to the grave or when it's summoned. It does have very unique effects. Let's look at them. Once per turn, you can target 1 Super Quantum monster you control. All face-up monsters you control become that target's level. You can tribute this card. Reveal 3 Super Quantum monsters with different names from your deck. Have your opponent randomly special summon one of them to your side of the field, and send the rest to the graveyard. Now you can obviously see why, even though it doesn't exactly fall into the archetype with the others, it's not a pilot, it helps out. 1, it can adjust levels, because this is a very exceed-heavy deck. You want to have similar level cards. You don't have to for this deck, I'll get to that later, but Aflin makes it a little bit more, it makes it much more easier to exceed summon. The second effect is the one I use a lot. Tributing, you can pretty much select any one of these cards, but you can only summon 1 of each. They all have to be different names. But this sets up a lot of combos. So you can select this guy, or you can select red, green, or blue. So your opponent chooses 1 and the others go to the graveyard, and because their effects pop off when they get sent to the graveyard, some shit's going to happen. Either you'll get red layer, and then you'll be able to draw if you have the Super Quantum card in your hand, or be able to shuffle some shit into your deck. If you summon green, then you can reborn something, or if it's blue, then you can just search for something. So this opens up a lot of combos. So I'm running 3. Now those are all the Super Quantum monsters proper, but as for the extra stuff to buff out the deck, it took me some doing, but I figured out some cards that could help. First, we have Star Drawing. It's an Earth Spellcaster type, level 4, and it has 2 very useful effects. If this card is used for an Exceed Summon, you can treat it as a level 5. An Exceed monster that was summoned using this card gains the effect. When it's Exceed Summon, draw a card. This can exceed with both red layer and green layer, so you have options with this one in case you want to Exceed Summon. With one of these 2, this helps out greatly. Also, the secondary effect lends some draw power to it. So I'm running 3. That may change. Next, we have Mother Grizzly, very old card. Water type Beast Warrior monster. 4 stars, 1400 attack, 1000 defense. When it's destroyed, you can special summon a water monster with 1500 or less attack in attack position. I put this in here solely for blue layer, because if this thing gets run over and you want it to get run over, you can just bring back blue layer you can bring out blue layer from your deck and get a free search if they don't do anything to stop it. So I'm running just 3, see how it works. Next we have another of the elemental searchers, Shining Angel. Same, let me check, slightly same stats, 1400 attack, 800 defense. A fairy light type, 4-star. Same as with Mother Grizzly, but for light monsters. I'm only running 2 because I'm using it for Star Quantum Fairy Athlin. It's a light, so you can search for this. Then your next turn, if it's still in the field, do the thing and start getting this shit jumping off. So anyway, those are the monsters. Now as for other monsters you can use, I have run to quite a few other Super Quantum players on Salvation, and I've seen them use trap tricks in this deck, which I will recommend. I've also seen some of them use artifacts. Artifacts run nicely with the deck. I think I ran into some using some photon monsters or galaxy monsters in this hand, because Photon Slasher and Photon Thrasher, you can use, both of those work well in the deck, and so I would recommend you run those. If this is not the type that you want to look for, try Trap Tricks and try Galaxies. They both work really pretty well. Those are my recommendations anyway. Let's move on to spells. First we get the field spell out of the way. This is the Super Quantum Mecha Ship Mega Magna Carrier. Field spell, I'm sorry. I gotta work this sumbitch over here because I don't wanna. Alright. Effect. You can discard 1 card, then target a Super Quantum Mecha Beast Pilot monster you control. Special summon from your extra deck 1 Super Quantum Mecha Beast Exceeds monster with the same attribute as the one that you were using as material. This summon is counted as an Exceed summon. Now, this of course makes it extremely easy to do Exceeds with just 1 monster, because each of the other pilots, all the pilots, have an Exceed monster of the same type that you really want to Exceed with them. So all you have to do is ditch a card, instant Exceeds. So yeah, you can Exceed with 1 monster. How cool is that? And because you sent a card from your hand from the graveyard, because of that makes this card better. Because I was afraid they were just going to make it limited to just using Super Quantum Beast cards in your hand to pay for this effect, but they said just any card. Plus, it works with the secondary effect of the pilot monsters. But it's the secondary effect that we want to get interested in. You can send this card from the field zone to the graveyard, then target 3 Super Quantum Mecha Beast Exceed monsters with different names in your graveyard, and or that you control. I'm sorry I didn't scroll down, but I know it well enough. Special summon them, and then special summon an Exceeds monster, Super Quantum Exceeds monster from your deck, using those Exceeds monsters as Exceed material. And any material that those monsters happen to have on them become Exceeds for that 1 monster. This is the good way to special summon the boss of this deck. I will get to that later once I reach the Exceed monsters. So anyway, I run 3. And I don't run terraforming because sometimes terraforming can be a dead draw. So, but I run I run blue layer from all my searching needs for Magna Carrier. Run 3. Next, we have Emergency Teleport, Quick Play spell. But it's simple to the point. Special summon a level 3 or lower psychic monster from your deck or your hand. During the end phase, banish it. Well, I have 3 because there are only 3 targets, which are blue layer. Blue layers are psychic. And since its effect pops off when it's special summoned, this is a good way to do some extra searching, or if you need an extra level 3 on the field. So you want to have these in there. But just as a word of note, you want to be able to Exceeds on the turn that you activate this, because once it's banished, there's no way to get it back unless there's someone else creates a build that specifically works with banishing and shit like that. So I run 3. 3 is enough. Next, of course, we have Mystical Space Typhoon. Destroys a spell or trap on the field. Enough said. Then we have Foolish Burial. Send a monster from your deck to the graveyard. Self-explanatory. Whatever situation that you need, if you want to shuffle some cards back into your deck, or if you want to get some more draw power, or if you want to just bring a monster back from your graveyard to the hand, use Foolish Burial and ditch one of the pilots. Enough said. Then we have 1-for-1. Send a monster from your hand to the graveyard, special summon a level 1 monster from your hand or deck. You, of course, are going to know you're going to have to do with for Fairy Athlon. And since you really should have one of the pilots in your hand when you summon this bad boy, just so you can get their effect off. Limit it to 1, but that 1's all you need. Those are the spells. Alright, let's go to traps. And of course, we have the archetype specific one, Super Quantum Megazord, Magna Slayer, because every giant Megazord needs a fuck off sword. It's a trap card. Target a Super Quantum Exceeds monster you control. Equip this card to that target. It gains 100 attack and times its rank. Also, if it attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing. And during the battle phase, you can send this bitch to the graveyard. That this monster was equipped to can attack 3 more times during the battle phase. I OTK'd to some bitch who was running who was running a Magispector deck. I OTK'd him with this bitch equipped to the boss monster. So essentially, the boss monster is a rank 12, so that's an extra 1200 attack, making it essentially a near 5,000 point beater who can attack 3 times and who can just run shit over. And just run shit over with piercing. So yeah, I run 3 of these, and even if you lose them, or if you lose the carrier or the field spell, blue layer, you can always recycle. So anyway, but let's do some more of the let's do some add-ins. This is Exceeds Reborn. Targets an Exceeds monster in the graveyard, special summon it, and attach this card as Exceeds material. Since you'll be exceeding a lot with this deck, this card is a boon for you. But I run 2. Call the Haunted. Oldie but a goodie. Brings back a monster. Run 2. Pinpoint Guard. I'm running 1 for this one, just to tech it in. If your opponent declares an attack, target a level 4 or lower monster in your graveyard, special summon in defense mode. It can't be destroyed by battle or card effects this turn. Handy for creating an instant wall, and also handy for popping off these effects for green, blue, or for green or blue, or having Fairy on the field in case you want to summon him, do his shit on your turn later, or bringing out Mother Grizzly or any one of these other motherfuckers. So anyway, and of course, Storming Mirror Force. How could I have played this deck without this card? I love this card. If your opponent declares an attack, return all face-up attack position monsters your opponent controls to the hand. I ruined a Cosmo player's day with this deck, because everyone has counters for monsters that are being destroyed. Very few have counters for bouncing. So I run 2. They never expected. So anyway, let's move on to the Exceeds. We got 4 Exceeds monsters for this archetype. First up, Super Quantum Mecha Beast Magna Pulse. Rank 3 Machine Exceeds monster. 1800 attack, 2800 defense. And by the way, all the monsters here, all the Exceed monsters here are generic, so you don't necessarily need the Super Quantum Pilots to summon these, but it would be preferable. We'll find out why. It cannot attack while it has no receive material. The reason is simple. Megazords, or Zords in fact, can't pilot themselves. They need pilots. So they can't fight unless there's some pilot in it. So yeah, that's understandable. Once per turn, you can detach an Exceed material from this card and then target a spell or trap on the field, destroy that bitch. If this card has blue layer as Exceed material, the effect can be activated on either player's turn. Once per turn, you can attach a Super Quantum Pilot monster from your hand or your side of the field of this card as Exceeds material. Now they all share those certain abilities, like they can't attack if they have no Exceed material, and if a specific one is attached to them, they can use their effect either turn. And you can attach a pilot monster from your hand or on the field to it as Exceeds material. So it has some reborning effects too. So in case you run out of Exceeds material for these monsters, just have one in your hand or resummon it with Call a Haunted or Pinpoint Guard or what have you. This is a good defender, and its effect is nice, especially when you can pop an opponent's card on their turn. Yeah, like I said, I ruined a Exodia player's play when he tried to do an Exodia deck on me with Chicken Race or Chicken Game, and I fucked his entire strategy over thanks to this card. Like, not today. Running 3. Next up, we go up another 1 rank with Super Quantum Mecha Beast Ouroboros. A wind type machine, of course. 2200 attack, 2400 defense. 2 level 4s needed. Like before, can't attack without exceeds, but his effect is that if you detach a card, you can target another face-up monster on the field, change it to face-down defense position. And similarly, you can attach a pilot to it as exceed material. This is good for those really beefy monsters with piss-poor defense, or just have effects that you just don't want to deal with on the field. Make it go night-night and run into that bitch. So, that's all. I run 3. Now we go up to rank 5. Super Quantum Mecha Beast Magnaliger. Fire type machine monster, rank 5, 2600 attack, 2000 defense. Only needs 2 level 5s. That's gonna be nice. And has the same effects as its 2 brothers, but this one's different. It can target a monster on the field and just destroy that bitch. Enough said. I'm running 3. And now to the big boss. As everyone knows who has ever watched Super Sentai or Power Rangers knows, the Zords themselves are individually great, but only when shit gets real, they combine to form one big Megazord. And here we have it. Super Quantum Mecha Lord Great Magnus. That is an awesome name. It is a light machine monster, rank 12. 3600 attack, 3200 defense. He is swinging hard. It requires 3 level 12 monsters. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to summon this bad boy straight up, but you can with this guy. This summons into this. But anyway, why is he so great? Let's look at his effects. This card gains the following effects based on the number of different exceed materials it has attached to it. If it's 2 or more, which you will probably have when you first summon this bitch, once per turn you can detach an exceed material from this card, shuffle 1 card on the field back into the deck. 4 or more, unaffected by card effects, except by Super Quantum card effects. 5 or more, your opponent cannot add cards from their deck to their hand except by drawing them. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon Super Quantum Mecha Exceeds beasts with different names from your graveyard. So essentially, you want to summon it using Magna Carrier. So if you summon this with just these 3 in the graveyard, then you can shuffle one of your opponent's cards back to the back into the deck, which is helpful. I used it against the Cosmo deck, fucked him up. 4 or more, if 1 or more of these guys have exceeds materials attached to them. Like I said, they all become exceeds material attaching to Lord Magnus when you summon him via Magna Carrier, and he's unaffected by card effects, meaning that you can run into your opponent. He won't be able to touch you for nothing. So as a revealing light, fuck you, kiss my ass. Mirror Force, eat a dick. Storming Mirror Force, eat more of a dick. Who else? Towers, fuck you. You can't do nothing to him. He's basically immune to everything, but if your opponent is using Super Quantum Beasts, then that's the only thing getting over him. So, once he hits the field, nothing's touching him. You gotta run this bitch over. 5 or more. Your opponent can't add cards from their deck to their hand except by drawing. This doesn't seem like a lot, but considering the metagame that is today with decks like Cosmos and Magispectors and what else? Pretty much any deck that relies on searching, because a lot of decks these days search. They have a lot of great search power. So this can cripple the right deck. Magispectors, they do a tremendous amount of searching. Great Lord Magnus fucks with them. It fucks them over so very hard. And even if they found a way to get rid of this thing, he just summons these three back to the field. And because you got him recycling Magna Carrier out of your graveyard back to your deck, or this, no, you can't do anything with this, I'm sorry. But yeah, you're going to have options. Not only can this thing recycle the ones that are sent to the graveyard, but summoning him again pretty much lets you search for him again so you can bring him out again. Exceed Reborn works with him too, but you won't have that many, you only have one Exceed material, so you won't get any effects. Let's see, and of course you can summon him back with Red Layer's effect. So it makes for, and he combos so well with this. Think about this. With Magnus Layer. Times 100 times its rank. So that means it's a rank 12, it would get 1200 attack. So that would be 4800 attack points. 4800 attack points, and it does trample. So if this thing has four more Exceed material, then you can just swing and not have to worry about anything. If your opponent has something in defense mode, you can just run it over with this to do trample, then get rid of it, and it just attack 3 more times. 4,800 attack points to the face. Oh, that's good. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I love this guy. I love him. His artwork is fantastic. But yeah, that is my deck profile of the Super Quantum Mecha Beast deck archetype. But like I said in all my other videos, this is not a perfect deck. This is just the build that I prefer to use, or the build that I have so far been created. I will more than likely change this up, so this is not a final build on the deck. Not to mention, this is just a video to give you ideas. If this helps you out in understanding how the deck works, or gives you an idea of what works in the deck, more power to you. I'm not saying this is the perfect deck. I've maybe won like 40% of the time with this, only because of bad matchups and because of dead draws and what have you. I'm going to streamline this deck even further. But there are still some things I'm missing out of it. May probably add more Exceed monsters to this, maybe Silent Honor's Arc or Exciton Knight. Oh yeah, Exciton Knight's banned. Or any other rank 3, 4, or 5 monsters that I can think of at the time. So there's that. I heard some people are using an Exceeds variant of this deck. I might give that a try. You never know. But like I said, this is just my deck. If this gives you any ideas, more power to you. Or if you have any ideas about about what cards should be run with this deck, or what engine works best with this deck, go ahead and leave it in the comments section. I'm accepting all ideas. Sorry. Get something to drink. My mouth is dry. So anyway, that's my profile of the Super Quantum Mecha Beasts, or as I like to call them, the Power Ranger deck. So if you like what you see, link, comment, subscribe below. Got any questions, comments, or just or tips, strategies, or just want to talk about this deck and how cool it is, leave it below. I'll get back to you. If you want to support the channel, Patreon is in the link. It doesn't take much to support. Tip jar is up in the upper right hand corner if you want to donate there. All the support is appreciated. I'll also leave my Twitter in the link below in case you want to contact me and ask for something or other. But anyway, that's my video. So until next time, this has been shintigercurl, that dude in the straw hat, saying good day, and it's morphing time.